Now at noon, hundreds of LAX workers walk off the job for day one of a planned 3-day protest. Thanks for joining us for the KTLA 5 News at noon. I'm Glenn Walker.
And I'm Lou Parker. The concession workers are pushing for the better pay.
Now, this is one of several strikes happening at airports nationwide. KTLA 5's Karine Winter live at LAX with the developing details. Karine?
Glenn, that's right. Strikes nationwide, strikes here at LAX this afternoon. That's all happening at Terminal 4. Take a look at these images from earlier. These workers have been at it since around 6 o'clock this morning, and they say they plan on striking way into the evening. Not just that, but that the strike will continue for the next 3 days. Hundreds of these employees from various areas, USA-operated outlets at LAX, walked off the job today. They're not striking against LAX, but Areas USA, which represents food and beverage restaurants at service airports all across the country. We've reached out to the company for comment. We're still waiting to hear back now. These striking workers tell us that the main areas of concern include a salary increase. They also want more money directed to their pension fund. They currently make around $20 an hour. They're pushing for an increase closer to $25 an hour. Many of these employees told us that they live near LAX and they can't afford to pay their rent or feed their families. Listen.
I'm striking because we don't get paid enough, and I mean we get treated unfairly. We're constantly getting told like different things from different managers. It doesn't make sense. We don't get paid enough. You know, we're overworked. My apologies. We're short-staffed.
And more demonstrations this week. Yesterday, there was also a protest involving flight attendants here at LAX and around the country. Thousands of them demonstrated nationwide, pushing for better pay and also working conditions. Flight attendants from airlines like Alaska Air, United, and Southwest picketed outside 30 airports across the country.
We must show them we are shutting it down in 10 cities. No airport ride.
This was also another strike, this time involving rideshare drivers with companies like Uber and Lyft. They're also protesting nationwide, not just at airports. Right now, LAX has not been impacted, but at various locations, they're pushing for more competitive wages and benefits. There is a strike that'll be occurring this afternoon in Beverly Grove, so we'll be hearing from more drivers then. But take a look at this. We received a couple statements this afternoon. This one is from Uber, and it said in part that these strikes rarely impact trips, prices, or driver availability. They say that's because most drivers are satisfied, earnings remain strong, and as of last quarter, drivers in the U.S. made about $33 an hour. And this from Lyft, a representative told us that they're constantly working to improve the driver experience and that they recently released new offers to increase driver pay and transparency. They said now drivers will always make at least 70% of the weekly rider fares after external fees. So we're hearing from both Uber and Lyft this afternoon, both companies in essence saying that while these strikes may be occurring not just in Los Angeles but across the U.S., that it's not impacting business at all, that their pricing and salary for drivers still remain competitive. We'll be hearing more from Uber drivers later this afternoon. We'll send it back to you now in the studio.
Karine, thank you. Organizations for local firefighters are opposing an LA City street modification measure on the March ballot.
They say it would lead to increased traffic jams that would delay emergency response times. KTLA 5's Alina Abovian is in downtown LA. She has the details. Alina?
Hi there, guys. Good afternoon. Well, we're here in downtown Los Angeles and happen to be right next to Fire Station 9, which is one of the busiest fire stations in the country. So this news conference, it was held here today, and we heard from firefighters, first responders, who say these so-called improvements, they sound nice, but unfortunately, they hinder on the work that they do every single day. So take a look at this. This is the press conference that was held here this morning in downtown Los Angeles. We heard from firefighters from different unions asking the public to vote no on Measure HLA, and also those in favor of the measure spoke today. During the press conference, some local firefighters making the argument that adding certain street safety improvements, for example, more bike lanes and bus lanes, would actually make it less safe for emergency vehicles or first responders.